development is important. How do you increase that value? Now, while the conversations and what all the panelists have presented comes from a very diverse point of views, it's by design because we want to bring the conversation back, right, into taking these elements and how do we relate this to sustainable development goals? How do we make sure that the various efforts that's been done, the lessons learned by all the various panelists that have shared, is able to help us in cultivating entrepreneurship, innovation that can relate to sustainable development goals, essentially. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I open up to the floor for questions. Please state your name, which organization you're from, and who you would like the question to be addressed to. We've got a gentleman over here. Can I got mic from the floor, please? There's a mic in the middle here, if you don't mind, sir. Yeah. We don't have mic rovers, but so anyone else? Great. Do you want to stand by at the back so that we can just get the momentum rolling? Thank you.
I'm Tom from iCycle, and I also at a startup. I think my question will go to Prof. Anil and as well as Dato. Just now we listened to Prof says there are three triangles relationship between the so-called entrepreneur, innovators, and as well as funder. All the while I've been dealing with funder and innovator, because the current mechanism, I think, Magic or even MMU, which is a university setup, we always talk about funding and innovator. But to have another party of entrepreneur, which means that is there any special mechanism that it really say hire someone really from pure entrepreneur background, grabbing some idea from innovator, then get funding for them? Is it something like that? Is solid in really being implemented?
Yeah, it's like this, that innovator is an engine of new discoveries, new ideas. You get him bogged down with business, of running business day to day, and you have sapped that creative energy that could have served the country with many more products, the world with many more new ideas. So this is a temptation that innovators must overcome. They should not always, exceptions apart, but most of them are not able to produce the same thing twice. They're incorrigible improviser. You give them an order, the second product that they supply is better in some sense, has a new feature or a form or function that the previous one did not have. So the first client feels shortchanged. Oh, you didn't give it to me, now you give it to him. So that process creates dissonance in the mind of customers. I think what we need is a hardcore entrepreneurial manager who will make the production line, supply chain, proper quality control systems, get the things in the hand of the customers consistently, at least one version. Secondly, innovators try to add too many features in the product. Most of the innovators. And that becomes the death knell. Customer is not able to find out how much should I pay for this feature, feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. And therefore, market gets confused. So I think we need to have the third actor of entrepreneur in the picture. Entrepreneurs can be coming from family businesses. They are, a young second generation entrepreneur maybe. They could be also first generation entrepreneur. And we must have risk capital, as you mentioned very rightly. We created a micro venture innovation fund, MVIF, not microfinance, micro venture innovation fund. So that under single signature, no collateral, no obligant, you trust the person, invest money. I can tell you, we got 70% money back under single signature all the time.
How big is that amount?
Amount could be up to from $5,000 to $10,000.
Okay.
But many enterprises, small ideas, don't need big amounts. Of course, you need 100,000, 200,000 also. Those products, those investments which need above 100,000, systems are well laid. You don't have to worry too much. It is the smaller investments that are a sticky one. There the machinery doesn't move very fast. Isn't it?
Right.
Getting small investments for small ideas is the real, and the jobs are generated by small enterprises, not by the big enterprises. Please understand that. Indian economy today is a jobless growth. Our growth is jobless. We are not generating jobs, but we are having growth. We don't want that kind of situation.
Right. Right.
Because the small enterprises will generate the jobs. So that's very important.
Great. Just to add on to what Prof is saying just now, the equation of an entrepreneur, when we talk about entrepreneur, is a person who could actually solve a problem, understands the market, and as Prof Anil talks just now, managing that value chain itself. And that's important because at the end of the day, it's still a business. The chances are, and I've seen this in different examples through, is that the product that the innovator has created, sometimes while it serves a certain function, the product market fit is not entirely there. It requires the entrepreneur. I've got a program that we run with a few partners where we go in and talk at the university level. It's great technology, great innovation that has come out from the university itself. But to migrate that into something, translate that into something that is going to be meaningful enough to a user, for the most part, it tends to be a slight challenge. And that's where the entrepreneur comes in, essentially.
It is never satisfied. He never finishes the product.
Yeah.
He keeps on working on it. And someday you have to say enough.
Yeah.
You work now, second version after 3 years. First version be frozen now. That freezing process, innovator finds very painful.
All right. Next question, please.
Yeah, I'm Ben Quinones, founding chairman of Asian Solidarity Economic Council. And probably the person I'd like to address this is Dr. Anil and Professor Hudson. The issue really is the relationship between entrepreneurship and inclusive development. Now, entrepreneurs are a very special breed of people. But most of our entrepreneurs or people engaged in business, maybe 99% in our countries, are micro, small, medium enterprises. And they are not entrepreneurs. Just happen to be in business because it is cheaper, it is more affordable for them compared to finding a job in the market. The question is this, and Mr. Anil just mentioned a while ago, you need entrepreneurial managers in order to transition the system from this activity, livelihood activity, to entrepreneurship. The question is this, how do you transition this economy of MISMIS or micro small enterprises that are not managed by entrepreneurs in order that you will have entrepreneurship that will transition to inclusive development?
Wow, that's a pretty good question.
You see, my quick reaction is that entrepreneurship is about risk-taking. It is about making the customer feel that the additional value is being given to that person. And communicating that value. Not just giving that value, communicating it. Many times you have given value, but you're not communicated value. And therefore the customer doesn't feel as elated as he or she should feel. The inclusiveness of small enterprise will depend upon which kind of needs are we meeting. One more mobile phone company or one more mobile phone model will not help society so much. But can mobile phone also help me using its power clean the water? Can I light UV LED for cleaning a glass of water by using the charge from mobile phone? Can I use mobile phone to test the minerals in my water quality? Can I use it to have an on-the-spot diagnosis of my blood quality or the disease? Those kind of applications are extremely urgently needed for our country, all the part of the population, society, world in fact at large. Point of care devices which use computing power of mobile phone and maybe having a small spectrophotometer. We have a project which we supported where a student of Tejpur University developed a small spectrophotometer attached to the